Hello and welcome to Chapa Middle School's Black History Celebration.
Black History Month provides us with an opportunity to celebrate the rich history and far-reaching accomplishments of Black Americans.
For this year's Black History Month celebration, Chapa Middle School would like to honor past and present contributions made by African Americans, both in Texas and nationally.
We will highlight some Black firsts, people whose contributions have left a significant and lasting impact on our country. Their legacy gives us inspiration to break barriers and shape a more inclusive society for all.
The Nobel Prize is awarded yearly to those who have provided the greatest benefit to humankind. In 1950, Ralph Johnson Bunche was the first African American recipient of the Nobel Prize for Peace. Martin Luther King Jr. was the youngest African American to win the Nobel Prize in 1964.
In 1823, Alexander Lucius Twilight was the first African American to graduate from Middlebury College in Vermont. The first Black woman to receive a BA degree was Mary Jane Patterson. She graduated from Oberlin College in 1862. Texas is home to 9 historically Black colleges and universities. Paul Quinn College was the first HBCU to open up in Texas in 1872 and is located in Dallas. The second oldest Black institution in Texas is Wiley College, located in Marsh, which opened in 1873.
In 1983, astronaut and aerospace engineer Guyan Stewart Bluford Jr. was the first African American to go to space as a member of the crew of the Orbiter Challenger. Mae C. Jemison is the first African American female astronaut. In 1912, she flew into space aboard the Endeavour, becoming the first African American woman in space. James Durham was born in slavery in 1762, bought his freedom, and began his own medical practice in New Orleans, becoming the first African American doctor in the United States. Mary Eliza Mahoney was the first African American to study work as a professionally trained nurse in the United States. In 1879, Mahoney was the first African American to graduate from an American school of nursing. Keyhind Wiley and Amy Sherald. Wiley and Sherald painted the portraits of President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama. They are the first African Americans to be commissioned by the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery to create official portraits of the President or First Lady. Lauren Anderson is the first African American woman to become a principal dancer at Houston Ballet in Houston, Texas. The first African American Grammy Award winners in 1959 were Ella Fitzgerald and Count Basie. Willie Doe was the first NFL quarterback in 1953. He was known to toss a football 70 yards. Jackie Robinson was the first African American MLB player. He played for the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947. He was also the first African American to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962. Alice Coachman was the first African American woman to win an Olympic gold medal in long jump in 1948.
Phyllis Wheatley is considered the founder of African American literature. She became the first published African American poet in 1773. In 1993, Toni Morrison was the first Black woman to win a Nobel Prize for literature. The first documented African American bookstore was established by the abolitionist David Ruggles in 1834.
Hey, it's Miss Krejci here from the Chapa Library. February was Black History Month, and I wanted to share with you guys some of my favorite authors and books. I'm going to first talk about On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. This slide shows several of her books, and it shows a picture of Angie Thomas. On the Come Up is about 16-year-old Bree who wants to be the greatest rapper of all times. That's sometimes hard to do, though, when you're facing problems at home like an eviction notice or not having food in your refrigerator, or people just plain label you as a hoodlum. Bree doesn't let this stop her, though. She never gives up on her dreams. I'd like to let Angie Thomas speak to you in her own voice about a section from the book.
I am going to do a rap from one of the opening chapters of On the Come Up. This is from Bree's perspective during a battle. And if you know anything about hip hop, you know that battle rapping is a huge part of it. This goes back to the culture of the dozens in the African American community, where you basically those yo mama jokes, those are the dozens. So battle rapping was birthed from that. A little history for you. Okay. So here's Bree's battle rap. My apologies, see, I forgot my manners. I get on the mic because it's my life. You show up for girls and cameras. You're a pop star, not a rapper. A Vanilla Ice or a Hammer. Y'all hear this crap be dumping out? Somebody get him a pamper and a crown for thee. The best have heard about me. You can only spell brilliant by first spelling Bree. You see, naturally, I do my shit with perfection. Better call your bodyguard because you're going to need some protection. And on this here election, the people crowned a new leader. You didn't see this coming to your ghostwriters didn't either. I came here to ether. I'm sorry to do this to you. This is no longer a battle. It's your funeral, boo. I'm murdering you. On my corner, they call me coroner. I'm warning you. Tell the truth. This dude is boring you. You confused like a foreigner. I'll explain with ease. You're just a casualty in the reality of the madness of Bree. No fallacies or spitting maladies, causing fatalities, and do it casually damaging rappers without bandaging or managing my own label, my own salary. Actually, factually, there's no MC that's as bad as me. Mouth, that's cute, but it don't make me cower. I move at light speed. You stuck it per hour. You spit like a lisp. I spit like a high power. Breeze the future, and you today like Matt Lauer. You coward, but you a G. It ain't convincing to me. You talk about your clothes, about your shopping sprees. You talk about your Glocks, about your ICE. But this here battle, they all talking about me, Bree. That's it. Are we good?
Check this book out. It is great. Hi, it's Miss Krejci from the Chapa Middle School Library. I'm here to talk about books and some of my favorite authors. This is a celebration for Black History Month, which was in February. One of my favorite authors is Jason Reynolds. He particularly writes really good, engaging books for middle school kids and middle school boys. The one I'm going to speak briefly about today is called Ghost. It's about a young boy who is super wicked fast, but he also has a lot of anger issues and kind of secrets in his past that threaten to overwhelm him. If he can keep it together, he might just make it to the Junior Olympics. Let's let Mr. Reynolds tell you about his books in his own voice. This is an interview.
So you say that young people are book haters, especially or specifically boys. Yeah. So is that kind of, or how do you go about confronting that stigma or that saying in your writing? And I know you just touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, but you also deal with the truth behind that statement, right? And the truth behind that statement is that young boys hate books, but that's what they say. Mm-hmm. They don't really hate books. They hate boredom. Right? They hate being bored. When I was a kid, I hated books too. I didn't read no books till I was 17 and a half years old. Because everything seemed so boring, right? Had I had books written in my own language, I'd have been like, bet a minute. That's why rap music worked so well in the 1980s and 90s. Mm-hmm. Sound like me. I was like, bet, they talking like we talking. I'm with it. I can listen to your story when it sounds familiar, at least at first. Then I can branch out. But you got to give me a doorway. You got to give me something like a springboard, right? And so what I realized is that it's just about boredom. These kids ain't got, it's too much stimuli for us to figure out how to slow walk them into a story. Because they say kids today got attention spans of about 2.5 minutes, right? The length of a song, the length of a YouTube video, right? If that's what I have, and they're reading, so many of them have, because of literacy rates, are reading at a slower clip. That means that I got about 2 paragraphs, maybe, to get them. Now, I'm not going to throw the plot at the beginning of the book, so I better use language as a draw. right? It's just about boredom, yo. For me, Richard Wright changed my life, right? I was 17 and a half. I read Black Boy, first page. He burns his mama's house down. I was like, bet. This is human, right? This is not, you know what I mean? This ain't rocket science.
Yeah.
Black boys and boys in general and people in general just ain't not with the boring stuff.
That's on the first page.
That's on the first page.
Oh wow.
You see him messing around with the curtains.
Yeah.
Getting ready like the curtains on fire on the first page.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to understand. Like, instead of me expecting them to meet me where I am, I meet them where they are, and then I'll slowly bring them to where I am. I think that's sort of the process.
That relationship and that connection.
That's what it is.
Check out one of Jason Reynolds' books, and thank you to the University of Wisconsin-Madison for this excellent interview. Hi, it's Miss Krejci here from the Chapa Library. I wanted to celebrate one of my favorite authors, Jewel Parker Rhodes. This is a celebration for Black History Month, which takes place in February. Miss Rhodes writes very powerful books. She has several. Today I'm going to talk about Ghost Boy, which came out a couple years ago, and is a really powerful and relevant story today. It's about a young 12-year-old boy, Jerome, who is shot and killed on a playground because he's playing with a play gun by the police. The story is about him as a ghost connecting with another young boy who was shot in the 1950s. It's about them making a difference in this world and trying to get the living to bear witness and make changes so these things don't happen and keep happening to young African American boys and girls. It is a powerful story, and it is available in the library right now. Check it out.
James Adkins. Adkins was the first Black mayor of Kyle, Texas. He served the city of Kyle from 1998 to 2005 and was a big advocate for the children in our community. Barbara Jordan was a lawyer, educator, and politician. She was a leader in the civil rights movement. She was the first African American Democrat elected to the Texas Senate and the first Southern African American woman elected to the United States House of Representatives. Barack Obama is an American politician and attorney who served as the 44th President of the United States from 2009 to 2017. A member of the Democratic Party, Obama was the first African American President of the United States. Michelle Obama. Mrs. Obama is an American attorney and author who was the First Lady of the United States from 2009 to 2017. Kamala Harris. Harris is an American politician and attorney serving as the 49th and current Vice President of the United States. She is the United States' first female Vice President and the first African American and first Asian American Vice President. Now we welcome our keynote speakers, Ray and Sandra Bryant, who will speak about the importance of community involvement and leadership.
Hey, Chapa Cougars, it's Sandra Bryant.
And this is Ray Bryant.
And we are coming to you today to tell you a little bit about Black history and the essence of it.
So let's get started. So tell me, what does Black history mean to you?
Black history means an opportunity for African Americans to tell his or her story. It's a reminder of a reminiscence of what our ancestors endured and overcame.
Yes, it also, to me, is just recognizing the achievements and the successes and contribution of African Americans to the United States as well as to the world.
I definitely agree with that. So what's next?
What experience has shaped you to celebrate the Black History Month with your family and with your friends, and how do we celebrate Black History Month?
That's a good question. So my experience of celebrating Black history starts like with sharing stories with my family and friends, hosting events to educate others about African American history, as well as participating in events and really becoming educated about it. So going to libraries, museums, and just out in the community, being engaged at different events.
Yeah, I agree with you. Those are some of you've answered some of the things I would have said. You know, that we celebrate and just going to various activities and festivals, learning. We even watch movies that are more culturally focused to just learn more about, because it's not just about other people learning about African American culture, but we're also learning at the same time.
This is very true. This is very true. So what else you got?
What do you think others need, think about, what do you think others should know about Black History Month?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I believe others should know the struggle that our ancestors went through and the freedoms that we have were not free. And just a better understanding of history in general. So we as African Americans, I think it's very important to know the cultural of Black history and the essence of it. So that's what I think what people should know about Black history.
And I like to add also that I think people also, it's about education and being more educated. I think that not just learning 28 days in the month of February, but I think this needs to transition into the year. I think it's a year round that we need to always be looking and learning and reflecting on the culture of Black history and what it brought to our nation.
That's a very good point that you mentioned that, because it's my understanding that Hayes CISD will be offering African American history as well as Mexican American history classes next fall. So if you want to learn more about African American history or Mexican American history, make sure you sign up for those classes. I also believe that the Black history is a collection of conversations, right? And so it's stories been told by individuals from their experience.
Right.
And so that information needs to be disseminated across all schools so people can know the history of African Americans.
And our hope is that at some point in time down the line that this will be in the school books. So it's just not once a month learning experience.
Okay, that's good.
So I tell you, how do we foster leaders in the community for the future?
So one way I believe that one can foster leaders in the community is by mentoring. I'm a huge proponent of mentoring, and the reason why that is because I had a mentor to get me where I am, and so just to build that relationship, that friendship, to have someone believe in you,
right?
That will allow you to expand upon your will to go beyond what you're doing.
And speaking of believing in you, students, you need to understand that there are individuals, adults that believe in you, and also some of your peers around you that believe that you are important, that you can do the things that you've been wanting to do for a long time, but you've been scared or shy or just apprehensive about doing it because you're afraid someone will laugh, or it may not be that important, or there's other things more important that can be done. Do what you have on your heart, because there's something there that will impact people around you.
And what you need to believe going into this is that you are enough. You are enough. You can become what you want to be. And one way to do that is to volunteer. So know your passion. And then once you know that passion, go out and share that passion. So for example, if you're passionate at reading or you're very good at reading,
right,
then go volunteer at an elementary school and read to the little ones to encourage them to learn how to read. So that's one way to be leaders.
And lastly, I just want to talk about the students that are interested in helping the community. This is a task, I won't say a task, I would just say maybe a passion that Sandra and I have had for a long time, that we've had the privilege of giving back to the community and helping and trying to help grow our communities as leaders. You know, we've had the opportunity I've had the opportunity to serve on city council in in Kyle for some years, and then here being the first African American to serve on the city of Buda. Yes. And also being tasked as being a leader we have to be cognizant that some people are looking at us and following us. We want to leave a trail that the future generation can follow.
I totally agree. And while my husband has served in many hats of leadership, I too was the first African American school board trustee for the Hayes CISD. In fact, I'm actually the only African American school board trustee for the Hayes CISD. And so that leadership, that opportunity that came before me, I did not plan because I was very shy growing up and even when I got older. But that opportunity came and I seized it, and I had people who believed in me, and I had mentors. And so I took the jump, right? And I landed in the at-large position for 2 consecutive terms. So I did 6 years as a school board trustee at large, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. But it all happened because people believed in me, and I had a great mentor.
So don't let anyone stop you from being the leader that you are. You own the definition of who you are.
So with that being said, I hope we've shared some nuggets with you about Black history and leadership and how you can be empowered to go back out into your community and to do great things.
Have a great week.
See you later. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Nevaeh Bills, and today I will be sharing my opinion on Black History Month. Black History Month to me is the month that we take out of the year to celebrate and notice everything our Black ancestors have done and how they have fought for everything like independence, equality, just freedom, and all of that, for everybody to be equal and nobody to be discriminated by the color of their skin. They have fought for everything, and they have made sure that everybody is being treated equally, and they have proven to us that nobody should be judged by the color of their skin. They have shown us to stand up for your differences, and they have shown us that nobody should be judged and nobody should allow anybody to just let somebody take advantage of the color of your skin and let them treat you a certain type of way. Black History Month means to me everything. It means that it represents my culture. It just helps me, and it helps me realize to always be myself and not to let anybody just take advantage. My culture is so important to me, and it means a lot to me because it helps me celebrate everything that my culture has been through and just everything, and how grateful I am for my culture today. Thank you so much for listening, and my name is Nevaeh Bills, and Black History Month is a part of me.
Thank you for joining us today in celebrating the values of equality and inclusion in our school and community.